Hey, perfectly timed again. Where is my smudge guard? It's on the other side of the damn room. We gotta get that bad boy. Can't do drawing without a darn smudge guard. Hello everyone, welcome to a short, cheeky, impromptu live stream. Not gonna be a big one today. I'm thinking 45 minutes tops, absolute tops, meaning I'm gonna be done basically within probably half an hour of starting this. But you know how it is on live stream, you tend to work very inefficiently because you get distracted by charming people. Today I am animating a guy running from bees in Dr. Bees. He is going to be running. This is my great high quality rough artwork, as you can see here. And basically I'm just going to create a really rough loop animation, and I'll probably clean up 1 or 2 frames and then hand it off, palm it off to my in-betweener and assistant Yap to finish off. Yap will color it. Yap will basically do all the hard work, and I get to do all the fun work, which is plan it out while talking to you guys. I hope you're all doing well today. I hope I'm coming through nice and clear. So let's just jump into animating this guy. Like I say, he's being attacked by bees, and he is a customer in a bank, meaning he's probably going to be in a suit. I mean, you get it, right? The Dr. Bees universe is kind of 1950s. Let's get a fatter brush going. I want a fat brush, boy. So he's going to kind of be a nice, smartly dressed man. I've already animated a few of the other characters in the shot, and they are based on Patreon supporters. I advertised on Patreon a few months back that if you wanted to be in the new Dr. Bees to send me a picture of yourself and I'll include you. We have a guy who's dressed kind of as a farmer who's in the shot, and a lady with long brown hair, she's in the shot. So I thought, okay, you've got a farmer, you've got a lady, we can have a nice business suited gentleman running from bees here. And the reason that I thought this character was not a good candidate to be based on the likeness of somebody else is because he's going to be screaming his head off. Okay, so I don't think the likeness would even come through. There's really no sense to basing this guy's likeness on a Patreon supporter, because you're barely going to make out any facial features. He's going to be so exaggerated because he's running from bees. That kind of thing. And I'm getting just a smartly dressed, kind of average looking guy. I think the suit jacket should be done up, so I'm just wondering what can kind of imply motion. Maybe if we give like a big tie flapping or something. I was going to have the suit jacket kind of tailing behind him, but I think I might just use the tie to give it some motion. So I'm not going to clean all these frames up today. Like I say, I'm going to do like 1 or 2 and then hand it off to my assistant Yap, who's going to come in, and the Yap attack, the Yapster, is going to finish this off for me, which will be great. Because he's very good at that. So the guy's looking up clearly, because we won't be doing them today. They're not going to be part of the animation that we're doing right now, but he's going to be trailed by bees. See? You see the connection here? There's going to be bees above him, and we have to make the animation loop as well. So that means that frame 1 is also going to be after the end frame, so it's going to loop infinitely. And I don't know, maybe the arm should be up. Like, what's happening here? Okay. No, I like the arm where it is. I'm not going to be doing high quality drawing today on my rough frames. I'll clean up 1 or 2, like I say. And you know what? The finger's got to be like crazier. He needs to be kind of more like spaced out, more wide. Yeah, creates more of that panic. A panic caused by bees. Okay, everyone. So there's a bunch of people in the chat today that I don't recognize. Egg for Eggdemption, I think maybe I recognize. Donny Arts, I know you. Davy88, Harry Ashfield, Shivery, I'm not sure who Shivery is. Roy Bucket, hi Roy Bucket. Hi Peterson Cartoon Animations. Hi XROS M. Harry, do you stop yourself from making a shit ton of bee puns during the stream? How do I? I don't know. They don't come to mind, honestly. I'm not a big pun guy. I'm just not that punny. So I don't know. I don't think that bee puns are all that funny. So that's probably why. Alright, so this is a running animation loop, meaning we're going to kick the legs up here. But what I'm probably going to do is actually take the body of the character, copy and paste it, and only change the legs for the sort of second part of the movement. Like, if you imagine someone running, They hit the ground with their left leg, then their right, then the left, then the right. Basically, I'm only going to do one. I'm going to do hitting the ground. This is his right leg. Have him hit the ground with his right leg, copy and paste the body, and reuse it just to save on time. This is basically a background character. Makes no sense in giving it our all. We'll put like a shadow on that leg. So this is not good animation, guys, or not good drawing, I should say. But this is a rough. I'm going to hand this off and let it get cleaned up by somebody else. Okay, so that's frame number 1. You can see my high quality art here that I did as a little guide for myself. I couldn't make up my mind if his eyes were closed or open, so I sort of went with both. Hey, Keshi HD, you recognize me? No, I don't, I'm afraid. Hello, Harry. Sorry I can't stay, but I highly enjoy your content. Thank you very much, Tinkerwoo. Hi, Heinz Muller. Kirk Michael Animations, hello B-Master, he says. Shivery says, he noticed, meh. Yeah, I noticed you. Yeah. Okay, so that looks good on that frame. And then we're going to have another with the head more kind of scrunched up. So he's going to be looking... He's still got to look really terrified. Maybe a moustache. I'm going to... I like that. The moustache makes him look dignified, but the fear in his eyes makes him look very undignified. So I think that makes it funnier. Bees! No one wants a big shit ton of bees coming by the bank. The bank! My voice has been shot lately. I don't know what it is. I've been doing too much voice acting, too much recording. But I am the squeaky-voiced teenager from The Simpsons on every live stream nowadays. It just cracks and cracks. Let's try and keep the cracks to a minimum. So this would be frame number, I don't know, 4 or 5 or so. Looks like Gomez right now. And if you're just joining us, we are creating an animated loop, a run loop, for Dr. Bees 3, which is horribly overdue. I thought it would be out in September, October. It's now obviously going to be out post-November, so I'm hoping that December is as late as it goes. A lot has been done. It's certainly the most ambitious Dr. Bees I've ever done. It's funnier than the others, but it's also a lot longer than the others. There's a lot in it, a lot more characters, a lot more scenes, a lot more action, if you can call Dr. Bees action in any way. There's certainly a lot more of it happening in this cartoon, but it's coming out as soon as possible. This week I finished up all of my other commissions and other work I had to do, such as the Comic Tropes intro. I hope you guys got to see that. And then yesterday I took off. I wanted to do that Starbarians Christmas sweater, which went in the Teespring store yesterday. That was really important to me that I get to do that. I wanted to do a Starbarians kind of ugly knitted style sweater, like, you know, sort of the cliche with all the different patterns and stripes. I actually couldn't find out a way to do that, and I didn't want to give up on the idea completely, so I went with something a bit simple in the end, which is a kind of classic printed image on like a crew neck sweater. So that's what we put in the store in the end. I guess the tie is going to still be doing that. Alright, so this is our 2 frames, and what I'm going to be able to do from this is basically create kind of the actual animation. So that's frame 1. Let's get rid. And we'll keep the bee. We'll keep the 1 token bee for the shot, so that people can follow what's happening. That the man is being attacked by a bee. Let me see. McTetris says, "Did you ever finish an animation on time?" I did once, a long time ago. Well, when I wore a younger man's clothes. Okay, so because this is a rough, we're going to be able to get away with a lot of reuse here. And I'm going to basically copy and paste what we've already started and sort of reuse a lot of it. Just so that when we come to the cleanup stage, I think it'll be easier for Yap to go in and clean this up. Okay, I want to make sure that arm is sort of... It's really the hand. The has to be in the right position there. And something like that. Okay, so you're starting to see he's sort of getting down into that position. And this leg is going to be doing something different. Let's just redraw the legs. That's going to make our lives a bit easier, I think. And the face is going to need to be moved down, I think, a little touch, and the mouth just changed slightly. Eyes are a little bit high there. So this is a rough frame, absolutely 100% super rough, just to help my cleanup animator kind of stay roughly on target. Stay on target, which is going to be important for me. Hey, Animated Taco says, I hope you're having a beautiful Monday, Harry. I'm having a blue Monday. No, I'm having a pretty good Monday. Nothing to complain about. And actually, it's all good. I'm back on my... I don't like the legs here. I'm back on my own projects, which is really important for me. I'm finally free of doing commissions and stuff, and I'm back on Harry's stuff, which I'm always super happy about whenever that happens. So legs are going to cut off around here. So yeah, as the leg goes down, he's going to kick this back leg up. We'll keep that shadow going like that. Okay, so it's going to be frame 1, 2, 3, something like that. Let's make sure we can get it slow. And I'm going to play it back at 12 FPS, which is probably closer to what it'll actually be in the real cartoon. Whoa, there you go. Blink and you miss it. I'm going to make the tie, fill in the tie with black, just so that motion of the tie is going to be easier to follow. I'll probably put a bit of shadow there in the jacket, just so that reads. And there you go. Paint that tie in black there. Probably same with the mouth too. And then here we're going to take frame 3 and I think maybe lift it up a little bit. No, I'm going to copy it and paste it, and then maybe, I don't know if it should go down or up next. I think it should be going up a little bit. So he sort of comes down, and then as the leg at the back starts to kick outwards or backwards, he sort of propels himself up for the next step. As the other leg, the back leg, comes forward. Let's clean up this leg a little bit here. And then guys, if you have any questions today that I can get to, I will try to do my best, but I've got to make sure I'm looking out for them. I'm trying to work here. Andrew S asks, will you make more Trilby Dogtooth? Andrew, I definitely will. I'm actually thinking that next year my plan is to stop doing anything that isn't either Starbarians or Trilby Dogtooth. So I don't think there'll be a Dr. Bees next year. I know there hasn't been for a while, but it looks like there's going to be one this year. But my plan is to make sure there's Dogtooth and Starbarians next year, and maybe the same after that, because I really want to streamline and prioritize the projects that are the most important to me. So that's essentially the angle. Tewak says, how's your day going, Harry? I'm good, thank you, dude. I'm really good, Tewak. I'm back on Harry stuff, which is exactly where I want to be. I know. That's what I said I wouldn't do. But that's what this guy's running from. It's running from a swarm of bees. And we're gonna make sure that the tie is kind of animating nicely. The other day I was speaking with my assistant animator, Yap, and he did say that he wanted me to give him more of a challenge, which I think I read as, you know, give him more responsibility. Like if I save this really quickly, I can actually show you a shot that I sent him today with this new Dr. Beast character, Omnipotron. And this is probably an example of a shot where Omnipotron close up, where it's a little bit too I'm leaning a little bit too much on my own resources here and not really giving Yap much to do. So Omnipotron is a weird character because he has like a head on the back of his head, so he has basically two faces. But that's frame 1 and that's frame 2, so I drew both frame 1 and frame 2 without roughing it out. I mean, it's cleanup. Frame 3 I'm asking Yap to do. Frame 4 is one of mine. Frame 5 I'm asking Yap to do. Frame 6 is one of mine. Frame 7 is going to be Yap's. And then that's one of my ones. But I mean, you can see they're getting really close. So all he really needs to do is go in there and turn the onion skin on and start drawing that in between frame. But I mean, that's the kind of an example of a shot that Yap is basically going to have to turn his brain off. He's really not being asked a whole lot of. Granted, it's still a lot of drawing, but I mean, it's not like a ton of thinking, really. And I think with the shot that we're going to be doing today, which is the man running from bees, which is what I'm working on right now, not a shot, but like an element, basically, an animated element to stick in the background, that's going to ask quite a little bit more of Yap's time and talent. So Andrew S says, Trilby Dogtooth is one of my favorite animations on YouTube. Well, thank you, Andrew, and I hope you enjoy the next step, because I've got a lot of plans for Trilby Dogtooth, and I think the next cartoon, which has already been written, I think is really good. I think it's really cool. Draw Dogtooth faces a more dangerous monster, one that he does not actually know how to kill or how to stop, and it's all about his research, what goes into finding out how to stop a monster. So I think it's got some potential, and I'm pretty proud of it. Okay, all right, let's get to it. So we've got frame 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. I may need to do an in between there. Yeah, I may need to do an in-between there. If we copy and paste this frame, the legs won't work because it's not the looping part, but I want to see back sort of where the animation is going. So it's really drawing the hands and the arms in the correct position. I'm going to move these arms around. This is very cheap, nasty animation I'm doing, but it's going to probably get the job done. I think, you know, you can't be this sloppy when it comes to cleanup, but when it comes to roughs, you know, you're really just figuring out the motion of the body, so I don't think the actual drawing is that important. I mean, little things like getting the suit to look good and all the fingers to be drawn correctly, that's something you can do later on, I think. A little bit later on, so he's like, yeah. I think the hand should be moved back a bit there. Haha. And the tie is going to be delayed and coming up. And we'll do the same. We will do exactly the same on the beginning. In fact, I'll just copy and paste that frame so that the tie is always coming up from the position that it ends at. So, all right. So what I'm going to do is very, very briefly take a look at this in Flash, just because I like moving frames around in Flash. It's easier for me to kind of get a feeling for how the animation is going to look in Adobe Flash. So I'll be right back in 2 seconds, guys. Hello, so here we are in Flash. Animate is technically what it's called, but I grew up calling it Flash when it used to be called Flash, and now I can't shake that. Cannot shake it. Oops, close the timeline there. Where'd it go? There it is. Alright. So something like this, which is not... It's not bad! I mean, this is... As you can see, the legs don't loop correctly. They, He keeps like repeating one leg, but the top half of the body isn't actually that bad. It really isn't that bad. That's like 4 drawings. That's 4 drawings done very, very quickly, but it's kind of fine. I think I may put one in between. And you know what? No. Screw it. Screw it. It'll be an 8 frame loop. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we'll do another 4, but we'll basically just fix the legs so that they actually loop correctly. So that's going to be kind of easy. The thing that won't be easy is that we are going to clean up at least 2 of the frames so that Yap has a good starting point for his drawings, and when he does the cleanup and the coloring, it all makes sense. So we'll pick a color scheme for the guy today on stream as well. Let me just copy and paste my frames here so I actually have something good to... can I just paste the frames? Usually it doesn't let you do this, but yeah, there we go. No, it's not letting me do it. I wish they'd let you just grab and copy frames in Toon Boom and just slap them directly in the timeline. Flash will let you do that, but Toon Boom is more finicky about that. If it's on a different timeline, it won't let you do it, so you got to be careful there. I should probably delete the B. The B is good for reference, but I don't want Yap to think that he needs to draw a B in the shot, so I'm going to get rid of the B and copy these frames. The reason I'm copying them is basically so I can kind of use them as a guide for redrawing the legs, although we're obviously going to move them over so that they're on a different... they're aligned opposite with the opposite leg. So basically, this time, he's landing on his right foot, taking off with his left foot, and this time he's going to be landing on his left foot. So using this frame and the layer below kind of as guidance, I will kind of do something like this. We're just going to be really lazy here and something like that for the beginning. So let me, if I turn off the layer below, we can see he's kind of doing this type of thing. Okay, looks a little weird, but you know, I think it's going to be okay. See, like that. You know, I was looking at a friend's live stream today, and they were animating for a video game they're working on. My friend Kostas is working on a video game called Theropods with 2D animation, and he had a backseat animator. He had somebody in the chat telling him, you know, to animate something differently because it would have made more sense or whatever, or been more realistic that way. And it wasn't that the guy's advice was bad, because he had a valid point. But the thing is, when the project is huge and there are, in this case, hundreds of animations for their game, in this case in Dr. B's, there's probably 50 or 60 shots in the cartoon. You can't make everything perfect. But when you do something on a live stream and people are watching it, it's totally understandable that they'd be watching it and going, on frame number 5, that leg doesn't seem to be connecting properly with the ground. And they're only picking that out because they're actually watching it be animated in real time. If they watched it in the cartoon, they wouldn't really notice. Like, this is a pretty bad, rough run cycle we're animating here, but I think if you see it in motion in the cartoon, this guy's in a shot with like 5 other characters. We have 2 foreground characters, he's 1 background character, and then I think we have another 2 or 3 background characters, plus a flying, you know, huge pile of bees is going to be chasing the guy, and there's going to be sound effects and music and stuff. And I think the last thing you'll be thinking of is whether or not on one frame his foot connects to the ground in a correct way. So you do you put an unnecessary magnifying glass on animation when it's being made on a live stream, and then in reality it really doesn't mean all that much. But it's, you know, it's the way it is, and I would never have a problem with you guys pointing out if I screwed up. It'll just mean that you're first against the walls when the Harry World Order, the Harry Empire takes over. The dissenters will be fired upon. I'm kidding. The Harry World Order didn't take off. I tried, okay? So see, all I'm doing here is I'm just basically copying and pasting the frames, and or copying the legs and just shifting them over a bit, which is really lazy, but you know, it's getting them. They look a bit long in some frames. I don't like that. I don't like that so much. They're looking a little long. Anyone see RoboCop when the bad guy dies at the end of RoboCop and you see he has giant arms for one shot? They use a stop motion model and he gets thrown out of a window and he has giant arms. It's really funny. Look at, just type in RoboCop long arms and you'll see what I'm talking about. We don't want the equivalent with this dude's legs. That's not what we want. That's not good animation. So the guy's probably going to have to wear a belt. I'll have to, when we get into the cleanup stage, I'm going to draw a belt on him, but I don't want to draw that at the rough stage. We're still on the roughs, technically, so anybody that's come by and is thinking, Harry, this is looking a bit funky, I want you guys to know that you're going to be very disappointed. No, hopefully you're going to be impressed when we get back to work and make things look a little bit different and a little bit better. So, okay. I'm going to maybe put this guy in timeout. Reuben DeWolf, I'm going to put you in timeout if you keep spamming the chat with nonsense, okay? You're on watch, buddy. Remember, I said I had death squads, okay? Alright, so we're going to do the same with this frame here. Again, it's a copy and paste job. I'm just going to move the legs around, make the guy look a little sharper. And I'm probably going to have to redraw these because they're sort of overlapping by this point. So he's, hang on. And then on this one, we'll probably need to redraw those legs as well because they look frankly terrible. And you know, I'm dropping the knee to make that look a little better. I don't like how that's coming out. So I'm going to do the same with this one. I feel like the knee is too high on that one frame, and yeah. He's got kind of a big butt in some of these frames. I'm just making it way too big and glorious looking, but I'm animating it as fast as I possibly can, so that's why. That's why he's got a big tush in just some of these frames. All right, we're cutting everything off there at that line, so we're not gonna need to worry. I think that's gonna lead back nicely into that frame, so think we're going to be okay there. Now what I'll do is I'll just double check. We'll take a look in Animate in Flash and just see if this is going to come together like I hope it will, and make sure those that second part of the loop with the legs are on point. So gonna do that. I will be right back in just a second, guys. We'll bring that into Flash and take a look. Hello, so we'll delete our old layer, and I'm just going to put these all on 2s, because if I don't do that, the default of the file is 24 frames a second, which is going to play back way too fast. And we'll just take a look at that. Bees! It's fine. You know, the hands are a bit spazzy and jerky, but that I think is partly because I've copied and pasted all of the frames, and when Yap comes to do the cleanup for the animation, he is not going to have that luxury. He will not be copying and pasting hands. He'll be drawing individual frames for each frame. He'll be doing new drawings. So I think the tie looks good. I actually think the legs look fine. It's really the face and the hands are the bad point, but I think with some good rough frames, he'll be able to stay on point pretty well. So I'm not too worried about that. Let's close it up. And what I will do is I'll head over to my Toonbin file and hit save. And what we're going to do is create a new layer on the layer above. Make the old layer sort of semi-transparent just so I can see through it. And I'm going to have to figure out the thickness of the brush that I'm going to want to use. I'm thinking maybe like a 9 or something. This is a background character, so he's going to be small in the shot. In fact, I think we're going to zoom in, or start on him like zoomed in and then zoom out so that he's really small in the frame. And so that he doesn't look too weird when we zoom out, we're going to have to go with a thicker brush so he sort of matches the other stuff drawn in the shot, which will be done with a thinner brush, but because we're zoomed out, it'll look thinner. Hopefully that makes something resembling sense. So I'll do my best. Okay. Right. I quite like that face there. I may actually keep that one and clean up this one. I think that is more important because I think if you get a good rough frame, rather than providing cleanup over your good rough, you should provide the cleanup over a bad rough. That way, your assistant doesn't have to fix a bad drawing. They only have to contend with using a good drawing as the basis of their frame, which hopefully will be easier for them because it's already a good drawing. See the logic there? Hopefully. Now the Dr. B's animation style is a little tricky because it's not really anything. It's sort of a hybrid of comic books, pop art, old 1960s kind of animation, like the old Marvel cartoons of the 1960s with the really cranky, chunky sort of motion. But we still have characters that are basically fully animated, like this guy. And we're going to try and put in all the details now. See, this is the kind of the image that we want. This is the level of drawing, which, you know, if you can imagine, we're going to be doing that not quite 8 times because we're going to be actually copying and pasting the body, but doing that, you know, many times over. That can be very tricky. So that's part of the reason the characters don't move very much in Dr. B's, is because that sort of the eyes don't look crazy enough. We want crazy eyes. Something like that, maybe. And yeah. I don't know, the eyes look a bit too... They look like classic Happy Harry eyes to me. I don't really feel they look in keeping with the universe, but... You know what? He's a background character. I'm going to roll with it. I'm going to roll with it and just let it happen, because ultimately it's about finishing the shot, getting it done, getting this cartoon online early December if we can. I would really like to put it up no later than December 10th. That would make me very happy. So while I'm doing that, if there's anything in the chat that I should get to, JJ's Corner says, actually we've got a Bowser the dog commented, Harry, I'm having trouble getting the line width on my strokes. They always get to its max thickness as soon as my pen touches the tablet. That's probably, you're either pressing way too hard, but unlikely. You probably want to go ahead and actually play with the pressure settings in your Cintiq or tablet options. That's the only thing I could think of, and I don't know what tablet you have, but yeah, I would think that either Google your tablet and that problem, or go into the options and try and fix it. Anyway, that's like a technical thing. I'm not very good with technical stuff. JJ's Corner says, evening, Harry. I'm still committed to Adobe Animate for all of my animation needs. Do you think a transition to Toon Boom is essential? No, not essential by any means. I'd certainly made good stuff, I think. I made good stuff. For ages using the Adobe stuff, but I much prefer Toon Boom for the way that the drawing sort of stuff feels. I don't like how old the guy looked there with the yeah, I'm gonna make him try and look a little bit younger with fewer bags around his eyes. And this makes him look old too, the big mouth lines. But let's make him a little bit smaller. And we'll add a little bit of a sort of highlight in the hair, like that, and that should be kind of on point, I think. And let's put in some of those wrinkles. Like that. And add some buttons. Just 2. I don't know why. I don't think any suits have just 2 buttons. Maybe they do. But we want to just get through this. So I think that looks okay for the body. Let me see in the comments. Is there anything else I can get to? No, I think we're good actually. Fatima Al-Shamsi are just leaving lots of vomit emoticons. I guess you're not a fan of the animation, Fatima. That's okay. That's okay. Hopefully the finished thing will be non-vomitous in its final quality, but could be wrong. Alright, I'm going to draw a belt in here just because we need a belt, I think, for it to look like a suit, but I don't want it to be a nightmare for the assistant animator, so I'm going to go ahead and make something kind of simple and straight to the point. Something like that, and I think I'll just fill that in with solid black, so we get something kind of generic. And that should be good. Alright. Probably gonna make sure that there's a crease in the pants. I think that would make it look more like a suit. No, I don't like that. And one of the reasons I wanted to pick this frame too is because I can get the shoe in on this and actually help guide Yap, who's going to be doing the cleanup and the coloring. If I draw a shoe, if I make sure I draw some frames with shoes in them, when he has to draw the shoe, he hopefully won't be as lost as if I hadn't drawn one. So I'm not, to the point where I'm doing model sheets. That just takes too long. A model sheet is kind of a behind the scenes treasure trove. If you're a fan of a cartoon, to look at they call them model sheets. They're basically drawings done for the animators so that they can see what the characters look like from all different angles. So draw them in different positions, different expressions, show you sort of what, I don't know, the underside of the foot looks like. If you're drawing Homer Simpson, you'll see what he looks like angry or sad, or what the back of him looks like. And those are really, really invaluable if you're doing a big animated production. Because of course, if you're having lots of different people contribute to the animation, you want to keep them all on model, all drawing the same Homer, so people don't draw him too fat or too wide, or with the wrong hair or the wrong, clothes or whatever. Because you may think, oh, I know what Homer looks like, but you know what? I don't know. If Homer jumps in the air, do you know how to draw the bottom of Homer's shoe? So that would be something you'd probably put in a model sheet. I am lazy and don't have that much time, so I'm getting away with basically I'll just be doing stuff like that, and hopefully Yap can now figure out the shoe from maybe every angle. I'll probably draw one of these frames with the shoe coming up like that, just to help him a little bit. So He's a smart guy, though. I know I'll be able to figure it out. Let's finish a belt too, so he's got that as reference. And I think I will draw 2 frames. I think it's going to be... I think we're asking a little bit too much of him to only draw 1 frame and expect him to figure out everything. I'm going to put a shadow on that leg there, which I think will create a little sort of sense of depth. And this hand, we've got to draw the hand a little better here. Oh boy. That's good enough. That's good enough for a background character's hand. Put a little shadow under his chin there. I feel like the little solid black shadows and the areas of solid black give it more of a kind of comic book feel, which is what we want. Do the same with the eyebrows and the moustache and anything like that. Anytime I can put that in, I feel like it sort of creates that sort of comic book feel. It's probably the inside of the mouth too. So I think that helps. I don't know if I like the moustache. Am I changing my mind about that? I feel like... What do you guys think about the moustache? Can we get a vote on the moustache? I just took it away. Obviously, I'd have to fix the mouth up a little bit. Let me know if you think I should keep the moustache or not. And... okay, let me see. Kyle says I like the moustache. Keep it, says Chrissy Stardust. JJ says I like the stash. Keep it. Without, if you want him a bit younger. I don't really have an idea of the guy's age. To me, it's just funny that he's the guy in the bank being chased by bees. The one thing he hadn't counted on going to the bank that day. I could barely the stash, honestly, says 357 Sneak. I think you missed a word there. I like the stash, but yeah. Okay. I'm getting some conflicting reports here from the stash camp, or the anti-stash camp. Doesn't really matter, but I think the stash makes him look more like Dr. Miles Madness. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he looked a little bit more like Dr. Beast, I guess, with the moustache. Yeah. Maybe then for the time being it will be left off. He's a completely generic character otherwise, but that's fine. He's in the background. We have other people that look more interesting. We're not doing a lot. No, I was going to draw a Hitler tash. No, Harry, refrain. We're not having Hitler attacked by bees. I mean, that would be, that'd be fine. That would be okay, but I just don't want that in my cartoon. So I'm probably going to leave the stash off for now, because you're right, he does look a little bit more like Dr. Bees with the moustache. Although Dr. Bees is definitely in the scene. He's the one providing the bees. I don't think it would be confusing to any of the audience as to who he was. These hands are looking very, very shriveled. These are not good-looking hands, but look at that. Oh, that's a bad hand. Boy needs to eat something. He's got little polio hands. Come on. It's not good. Yeah, maybe the lengths of the thing. That's what makes them look skinny. They're all the same lengths. All right. I shouldn't have said that about the hands, but yeah, they were looking a bit sort of thin and malnourished. Okay, I think that's going to be okay. Make the collar a little bit, or the sleeve a little bit fatter there, and let's just. All right, I'm going to flip it, and then we'll see all the horrors. See how bad the artwork looks. once you flip it. Yeah, that hand is looking a bit strange. I'm just gonna actually bulk it out a little bit at the sort of fat palm area of the hand. I think that's where it looks strange, like it doesn't have enough roundness to it. And this bit too is a bit shaky looking. Yeah, not my best drawing ever, but you know, we're getting it done very, very quickly. I actually think I'm seeing a few things now that I want to correct. I want the eye to be down just a touch. This whole head area, it just feels a little bit shrunken. So I think if we do this, we'll get a more human-looking head. Just bulk it out a little bit. There we go. I think that makes him look a little bit more like a human being and less like me just having a bad day. Just add a little bit more mass to the back of the head. It also gives us space for a few more wrinkles too, which is good for creating that sort of terror. I like that. I think that looks good. I think the only thing to correct now is the jaw feels still a little bit uneven to me. I think if we come in with the thinner jaw there on the sort of far side of the face, he will look again a little bit more like a human being. Let's flip that again. Yeah, I think that face is a tiny bit better than what we had before, and still make it a little bit thinner. And I think that the cheekbone can just be part of the shape, part of the line, about the same line. Okay, alright, well that looks okay to me. I guess that would be frame number 1 fully done. Now here's the question. If you guys were animators and you were given this frame number 1 as a guide, and then you were asked to continue, you're asked to clean up frame number 2, frame number 3, frame number 4, etc., how much would you struggle? That's the question I have now. What, maybe I should be giving a little bit more help. I don't know. Probably the biggest, those are the two biggest differences in terms of the spacing of the frame. So I should probably go ahead and clean up this one as well. I think I'll do that. I think I'll clean up this other frame and we'll try and keep it on model. Now that we've sort of established what this guy actually looks like, we'll try and keep it on model, but we'll redraw the head in kind of a new position, okay? And we'll try to make him look like the same human being and not an entirely different person, which I absolutely have it in my ability to do, to make two frames where the character looks completely different on both of them. That does sometimes sadly happen. Alright. Shrink that nostril down just a touch. I'm going to turn my fan on, getting a little bit warm. Terranium says no one's going to be paying attention to the hands in motion. I agree with you, Terranium. The problem is, it's not in motion. We're in a live stream. And the problem is that when you're in a live stream, you put undue attention on individual frames, and people end up probably seeing too many problems with them. Everyone should have mustaches. True beauty will be expressed. Well, Serrano Heyo, I think you got a good point there. But definitely we want to not overload people with too much beauty, because then in Dr. Beast 4 there'll be nowhere to go. You always got to leave people with somewhere to go. I've drawn the ear completely differently on frame number 1 versus frame 2. See, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Animation's a pain. You have to draw things consistently, and it's really hard. I want that nose to be a little bit different. Okay. And that jaw is not great, but I think it can be saved with a bit of clever use of the morphing tool there. And we'll come in and make that big scared mouth a little bit less big, but still pretty big. And he's still scared, he's still running from them bees. Wasn't that a Kate Bush song? Been running from them bees, been running on my knees, no problems. Let me take a look. Let's flip it over here. Yeah, his jaw is a bit harder here. But I think it's pretty good. We can get away with that. And we'll put a highlight again in the hair. And we can call that head, I think, pretty much done. Maybe a little bit more hair around the side and a little bit more visibility for the ear. And I think that works. You know, head may be a little bit big. I'm going to shrink it down just a touch. God bless digital animation where you can do stuff like this. Just play with something after you've drawn it, because I always really need that. Really. Alright, this is now where it should get a little bit more easy and breezy, because we're coming to... We've done the hard parts, we've done the head, keeping the head on model, and... Now we just want to go in and keep that body relatively on model. Let me see if there's anything in the chat I should get to. The hand confused slightly. Is he grabbing his head, waving them? Is he grabbing his head or waving them hysterically? He's just waving his hands around, Harry Ashfield. He's just literally waving them. So I'm probably not going to have him touch his head here. There's no kind of connection there. So because he's being attacked by bees, I feel they're just sort of up in the air to swat them away, but to have him both swatting and running at the same time was not. That was going to be too much work, so went with something a bit simpler, which is just having them up in the air, sort of defensively. You don't want to get attacked by bees. It's not good. I will say there's a channel on YouTube called JP the Bee Man, who is a bee. He's not an exterminator. He actually peacefully removes bees from infestations of bees, but he doesn't kill them. He hoovers them up in a way that doesn't harm them, and he puts them in like a travel hive, basically, and then he takes them back to his farm. He has a bee farm where they make him honey, and he sells the honey. But so no bees get harmed. It's actually really cool. They're very relaxing videos. Look up JP the Bee Man. It's like ASMR with this really kind of, he seems like a sweet dude, nice guy, talking to you very gently about how he's going to remove the bees and not harm any of them. So it's nice. It's very humane. If you are a fan of bees and you don't wish to see them, and then maybe there's a really good bee destroying channel out there as a counterpart. But I'm not familiar with it. I only watch JP the Bee Man. Alright, so let's put the shadow back there under the chin. McTetris says, copy the hand, they're almost the same. Yeah, but the thing is, if you do that too much, it doesn't look good. It looks static and robotic. I know that sounds like really good advice, right? But yeah, honestly, you've got to like you got to redraw things. It's an important part of 2D hand-drawn animation if you don't want it to look too robotic. Hey, Comic Tropes! Hope you're doing good, buddy. Yeah, bees are cute, says Comic Tropes. Fuck a wasp. I got no love in my heart for wasps, but bees, all good with me. Alright, that's looking good there. Totally screwed up and forgot that we have these lapel type things that we're going to want to have still be part of his costume. So we're going to make sure they overlap correctly. And are sort of dragging with the action of him rapidly moving up and down as he runs away from the bees. Put some buttons in. Gonna need some buttons on the suit jacket. That tie, bring that tie back. The classic tie, everyone loves it. So happy to see it back. And there's another torso nearly done. And it's important that we sort of change the perspective here on the belt. So it's going to be more like that, like we're starting to see sort of the other side of it. It's gone from we're looking up at the belt to we're kind of looking down at the belt, I suppose. Again, making the butt a little bit smaller. I went a bit crazy there on some of the frames with making the butt a bit too big. Not a big fan of big butts when they're on gentlemen, but I don't know why. Something in me took over there and we drew too big of a butt on every frame. Just shrinking that down a little bit. Get right down and shrink it so I can dink it. How many scenes are left to do with Dr. B's? Geranium, I love you, man, but you're always asking me how much I've got left. I have no idea, because it wasn't like I approached this in a really good, thorough, productive way and did an animatic or anything like that. I'm always kind of trying and knowing I should be doing more animatics, but when it comes to it, I usually just jump right in. So, okay, I mean, I can tell you the Dr. Bees 3, which will be represented by the word Dr. Bees and a 3, has 4 scenes, okay? The end one is all done. Scene 4, all done. Middle one is the shortest scene. It's really short, but it's completely not done. And then the big scenes are 1 and 3, and they're both looking like this. Like, getting nearly done. More than halfway, but not finished. And this one's totally blanked out. Okay, so that's the visual chart. So, I don't know what the release date will be, but I want it by December 10th. But I won't say it'll definitely be December 10th, because then I'll have embarrassed myself. So hopefully that sort of answers your question a little bit, I suppose. Okay. Well, we're coming up to 8:45 my time. I guess I've been streaming now for, wow, over an hour. I thought this would be a really short stream, but that's okay. I guess it means that it's my job to get this thing wrapped up, and we're nearly there. Luckily, we are nearly there. I want to go ahead and finish off this last hand, and then we'll color the guy in, and it's going to be kind of a boring color job. It's just a average looking guy in a business suit running from bees, so that's not going to take too long to do. And I can actually show you guys what I do to get it ready for my assistant animator Yap that's going to be working on this one. And let's smush that hand a little bit and kind of show you what goes into it, because obviously I'm going to be doing the rough and cleaned up frames, which is what we're doing right now, but I'll probably add some notes on there for Yap, and just to tell him kind of what I want. I think I'm trying to make it as clear as possible, but it's always helpful to add a little note. I like to find any way I can save him work by writing a note that sort of tells him where he can, you know, cut some corners, because, you know, animation, even cleanup animation, is it's a lot of effort, it's a lot of time. So don't want him to work unnecessary amounts of time, because that costs me as well. Okay. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. We're going to call the rough. So we've got, let me just recap. We've got 8 rough frames. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that creates this looping animation that we kind of checked earlier on, like that, with him running. He's running and he's looking up because he's being chased by bees, okay? So that's what we're doing. I'm going to turn that off right now, and we're going to go back to our rough frames. So we've cleaned up 2 of the 8, which is da-da-da, like that, and like that. So those are our 2 cleaned up frames. And I'm going to label this, instead of I'm going to just call it drawing. And I'm going to call this one, oh, the layer's invalid. Oh, we can't call it that. I'll call this one roughs, and then the name won't be invalid. We'll call this one drawing. Okay, and so what I'll do is I will grab this frame and copy and paste it except for the legs. And I'll make a note that says bodies can be reused redraw legs. And by reusing 2 of my bodies, I think Yap will get the picture that he only needs to basically draw 2 more bodies and 4. No, you know what I mean. Like, we're reusing, so character goes down and then back up, but I've already drawn 2 of the original 4. There's 8 frames, and I've finished 4. No, I finished. It's too complicated. You get what I mean. I'm just saying that he can. You see, we can reuse everything but the legs. So I'm just putting a little note there for him. That way he knows he doesn't have to draw the bodies 8 times. He only has to draw them 4 times and copy and paste them. It's the legs that need to be drawn 8 times. There we go. So, I'll put a note here. It just says, loops back to frame 1. Okay, loops back to frame 1. So now he knows that he needs to clean up frame 1. 2 and 3 are done. 4 and 5 need cleaning up. 6 and 7 just need the legs. And 8, oh no, I'm sorry, this one actually the body will be reused from the first one. So yeah, he needs to draw like 2 more torsos and something like 6 more sets of legs, something like that. Anyway, it's all very complicated. Only, you know, big brain smart people like me can do it. I'm joking, of course. I'm a blithering fool. So what we're going to do now is turn off the roughs, and we're going to spit out 1 frame. Spit out 1 frame, which is going to be my coloring guide for Yap. So I'm going to color this one in and then send it back to Yap as a way to say, look, buddy, this is how the colors go. That sounds a bit threatening. Look, buddy, this is how we color in Harrytown. And I'll come right back and do that in just a second, and I'll get to some of the comments that I've not gotten to yet. Okay, guys? I got to use the little girls' room. Be right back. Just give me a minute and a half. Bye-bye. Hello everybody, thank you for waiting for me. I am back, and what we're going to do right now is color this guy in and send him over as a coloring guide, which will accompany the animation that we've already done, the rough animation and everything like that. So Shivery says, nice to see you, Harry. I gotta go, have a lovely day. Well, you too, Shivery. You take care. Thank you, Mechanized Man. Rakanarshi says, damn, I gotta go to work soon, but it's good to see you still going, Harry. Yeah, thank you, man. Appreciate it a lot. If you don't color right in, Harry, you get sent down. Okay, Peterson Cartoon Animations. All right, yeah, making fun of my mobster-like animation director temperament. I know how it is. Hey, Tamagotchi. Well, I'm glad you appreciate 2 streams in 2 days. I would like to stream more. We'll see how it goes. Comic Trope says, have you ever inserted your friends as background characters? Yeah, I definitely have. Yeah, we did it in Skyrim. I'm trying to think. So in this Dr. Beast cartoon, we've got at least 5 people who are Patreon supporters who are going to be background characters. This guy is not really a cool background character, and he moves too fast to get a good look at his face, so I didn't make him an extra based on a real person. But we have a lot of that going on in Dr. Beast Part 3. Now, that doesn't necessarily, they're not just acquaintances of mine, they're Patreon supporters, but I consider them to be, at least friendly. If we're not friends, we're at least friendly acquaintances. I certainly have no ill will towards them because they're supporting me in my shenanigans. Righty-ho, I am going to go over to Dr. B's here, and I'm going to swatch our default Caucasian skin tone. There is a little bit more diversity in this Dr. B's, but this guy is going to be white, so we're going to color him in white, and that's going to be his skin tone, so that's going to be nice and easy. Now, I'm going to give us a nice green background. I like to make sure the background is a solid color that's not white, so that when Yap comes to do his background, or it comes to do his colors, he notices that the white parts are to be colored in white. That's something that you often can leave out. Like, let's say we make his eyes white, which we probably will, and his teeth and his shirt. If you put that on a white background, it's sort of it's easy to forget that you're actually coloring in those areas at all. So that's why we like to put a colored background. Now I can't remember which one it was I used. Let's say this one. So I want to give the guy white shirt. We're going to make his buckle gray. Let's take the Chief's silver from his police uniform for the gray. And I'm going to take somebody's tongue color. I'm going to take it like I'm Imhotep. I'm like taking parts of people to rebuild stronger than before. We're going to go and take someone's tongue color in a minute. And, oh yeah, we want the gray on the belt buckle. I'm probably going to take the gray for the shoe as well. And I've realized that I didn't give Yap any reference for the shoe, the bottom of the shoe, which I know he could figure it out. And I was saying earlier on that he probably could, but I don't want him. I don't want him pestering me. No, he doesn't pester me, but I don't want him confused about anything. So I'm just going to quickly draw like a real crappy version of what the shoe would look like from the underside, just so he sort of has a bit of reference there. Something like that. It's a bit scruffy, but he'll see now that at least I intend for the bottom of the shoe to be colored in gray, which is what I'll do now. So we'll just go ahead and make sure that the underside of the shoe is in gray. And there we go. So the actual suit... Oh no, we want to do the mouth and the tongue. And I got to do the cuffs in white as well. Let me see if I can get any questions done while I'm doing that. Joel Mayer says, you're the one who taught me to always use a grey background while animating to spare the eyes. Yeah, that's a good one too. A grey background. So you're not bombarding your eyes with white the whole time you're animating. Guy James says, hi son, I'm back from getting milk. Dad, you were gone so long. Thank you for returning. Now please give me some milk. What's your favorite film of the Mummy franchise? Oh, As the Sun Sleeps. Holy shit, I hope that's Joe. Or any of the band members, but I assume it's Joe. Probably my buddy Joe from the band As the Sun Sleeps, who I did a music video for. If you want to go check out the music video for Lifelines, it's not animation, it's live action. It's filmed over a weekend for really not very much money, but it's still a cool video. It's a cooler song. My favorite of the Mummy films is 100% the first one. I actually yeah, I really don't like the other ones. I like them to a degree because I kind of like the idea of the Mummy, and I like Brendan Fraser, but they're not very good. I really like the first one, so that's my go-to. The soundtrack for the second one is dope, and it's been a while since I've seen it. It might be better, but yeah, not. I'm giving away people here. That's Omnipotron. You don't want to see what oh gosh, I'm ruining everything. We need a tongue. Give me a tongue. Where's the guy? We just want someone's tongue. We want a shot with lip sync in it. Fuck. Ow. Ow. Alright, this dude will have a tongue. Shut up. Let's mute that. You can see backgrounds are missing, but lots has been done. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, do I not have a tongue? Does not have a bloody tongue on any frames. Alright, this is not important. I always just want to keep my tongue colors consistent across the cartoon, but screw it. We'll just go with a random made-up color of tongue. That is such a disappointment. Something like that. That's all I needed to do. All of that hardship. And the blue on his hair, just so that his hair is a little bit colorful, but you kind of get the impression that he's got black hair. Put that in there like that. Looks good. And the last thing we're going to do is give him a suit. Now, I was thinking of giving him a blue suit, which I'm not. I was thinking of doing this sort of thing. But I actually don't want to do that. I want to give him a purple suit, because someone commented earlier that he looked like a Batman villain. And I want to give him... I know the Riddler wears green, Joker's purple, Harvey Dent's usually, you know, half purple or black and white or whatever, because he's two-faced. But I want to go with the purple. There's a lot of purple in supervillain rogues galleries. I mean, or superhero rogues galleries. Look at Spider-Man's rogue gallery. It's all green and purple. You got Dr. Octopus is in green, Lizard's green with purple pants, like Mysterio's green and purple, Green Goblin is green and purple. I'm trying to think of other Spider-Man bad guys, but I mean, yeah, there's tons of green and purple guys in Spider-Man's rogue gallery. I think it's because they're kind of the opposite colors of red and blue, sort of. They're good counterparts, they're good complementary colors to red and blue. Is a bit of green and purple. So yeah, I think that looks pretty pimp with the purple suit. And as far as I know, there's no other characters in the cartoon wearing purple, so that works pretty well. Alright, well what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this guy a little bit bigger, and I'm going to double down on a couple of the colors and just sort of double them up here with big blobs, so that when Yap comes to do his color fills, he doesn't have to swatch from the character, he can just swatch from the blobs. Maybe put it by the... No, I don't need to put it by the hair, he'll figure it out. And the grey is like that. And then the flesh tone is like that. I think that's... Other than white and black, but white and black are kind of default, you know, he doesn't really need to swatch them from anywhere. Oh, and the tongue, of course. I forgot the damn tongue that I spent forever trying to figure out. I'll just put a little note there. I'll put a little note here. It just says hair. I don't always do that, but sometimes when I don't feel lazy, I'll do that. So that is going to be all of the colors that he needs to use to finish the animation. And if you're only just joining us, I'll show you what we've done, which is this rough animation of this guy that looks like shaven Hitler. He originally had a mustache, but we ditched it. And this is my rough animation, 8 frames. And then I did a couple of cleanup frames so that my assistant can go ahead, clean it all up, get it colored in accordance with this coloring guide, and that's it. And we did actually end up running quite a bit longer today than I thought we would, but still, that's all I intended to do today on the stream. So basically, guys, I'm done, and I'm gonna go hang out and eat some Pringles. And I don't know, maybe play a bit of Skyrim. Joyce has been adding a lot of mods lately to Skyrim on the Xbox now that they enabled Xbox mods. So it's kind of fun to Like there's a cheat room mod that just gives you every weapon in the game and can immediately make you like a level 1000 invincible god. It's kind of fun. Fits in with me and my power fantasies. So Axma says make the tongue the same color as the jacket. Not gonna happen, buddy. But thank you very much for the suggestion, and thank you to everyone who came by today. I was, you know, I got a bunch done. I was pretty distracted, so I didn't read the chat very much. I'm sorry if you tried to leave me a message and I didn't get to it, but yeah. Oh, actually, yeah, man. Joe had a good point. Joe, as the sun sleeps, says Scorpion King in 2, though. Actually, the first Scorpion King movie's pretty good. They've made about 4 sequels that get, I think, worse and worse, and they start, you know, using actors that are clearly not The Rock, other guys. But I usually forget about the Scorpion King movie. The second film does have the Scorpion King in it, and that's a high point. But the actual spin-off, standalone Scorpion King movie is like pretty cool. It's cheesy, but I mean it's pretty good cheese, so I like that one a lot. Anyway, everyone, yeah, rad stream, says Peterson Cartoon Animations. Gregor the Scott was in the chat too. Thank you for coming by. You too, Tamagotchi, Davy88, Tetris, Axma, all you guys, Animated Taco, Circle says hi, Harry. I'm just leaving, but thanks for coming by, Circle. You too, Joel Mayer, Jacques Elias Kosefi. Yes, your eyes do not deceive you. That's more Dr. B's coming your way soon, hopefully in December. All right, everyone, that was a short blast of a stream, but I'm gonna go and try and give it a real thumbnail now, and then get back to work. No, get back to relaxing. Maybe take an hour off. But I'll be back animating before the night is through. I got another shot I'm gonna bully Yap with that I want him to do. I've got a scene where when the bank fills with bees, I was gonna have a woman swatting away the bees with a baby. But I think that might be too much to animate, so I may just have a woman screaming with her mouth getting filled with bees to the point that she just has bees completely filling her mouth. That doesn't sound as funny, but I think the visual will be funnier and a bit less spiteful. All right, everyone. Yeah, you just got here, Corey Timigan, whatever your name is. Sorry, I can't read it. Corey Timigan. Yeah, I think you're a bit late, but we're done here. We're wrapping up. Thanks to everyone for coming by. Appreciate it. Love you all. And I'll be back again soon. Take care.